Hi, I'm Andrew Berry and welcome to At the Bench's YouTube channel. I love reading all the comments that you leave beneath our YouTube channel videos, and I always ask for suggestions on what you want us to do here on our YouTube channel. And one such question was how to make up your own ear wires, your own ear posts, how to get the correct diameter, the correct length, how to harden them once you soldered them, and so forth. So a very quick film on exactly that. We're going to be looking at making just the posts to make stud earrings. In front of me, I have got a very simple little round disc that we have just stamped out of our disc cutter. And I've got some wire. Commercially made posts, I got one right by here. They're usually in the region of about 0.75, 0.8, perhaps even 0.9 millimeters in diameter. I don't like going too thick for posts because the holes in people's ears aren't necessarily that large, and because we have a retail shop and a workshop as well downstairs, we do get quite a few earrings in that have been bought abroad with very thick posts. People can't put them through their ears, so we always have to file them down. So the wire that I'm using for this particular project is 0.8, if I am correct, 0.78, so yes, 200ths off, so we're looking at 0.8 millimeters in diameter. Again, the lengths always come pretty much standard when you buy them. This one that I've got here works out an overall length of 9.5 millimeters in length, so that's an average length. You can make them longer, you can make them shorter, it's entirely up to you. So let's just approach how we solder and how we get a really good solder joint upon the post itself. Now, I would always try and, well, there's two ways that we can do this to get a really good joint. What we can do is ball up the end of the wire. Let's quickly show you how we're going to do that. And the best way of doing this is to try and get as much of a contact area between this very thin piece of metal and the earring back. Two ways we can do that. Let me just snip the end off this. Clean up the end with a little bit of emery paper to start off with. And get a little borax, a little bit of flux, put that on the end of the wire. What we're going to do here, we're going to melt this little ball on the end. Bring my soldering block just in case it happens to drop. And what we can do is literally hold onto the wire in a pair of cross-lock tweezers like this. Have the wire upside down, and we're going to melt the end. Only slightly, a small little blob like that. Pop it into the acid. There we go, make sure that's nice and clean, dry it off. Now, we've got a little blob on the end. You can just about see it there. What we can do now is file that flat. Is 1.5 millimeters. Just see now how wide that is. Now that has increased the surface area when we solder that onto our flat disc. There's a greater surface area, so there's a greater amount of area for the solder to attach onto, so the solder joint is going to be nice and secure and safe. A lot safer than what it would be if we just simply soldered that post directly to the back plate. So that's one way that we can increase the strength of the post. The other way we could do it, just cut that back, nice bit of metal, is to make sure that the wire is nice and flat on the end. So I just clip the end with my top cutters, file across the back, just to make sure that now is nice and flat. To increase the to increase the overall surface area of the solder joint, what we can do is drill slightly into the surface of where we're going to solder the post. We can do that with a little ball burr or with a bit of a drill. Now don't go too mad, because this actual piece of silver here is only 0.7 of a millimeters, but all we have to do is just drill a slight little dip, a little bit of a recess, so the post sits in it. This will also help with the placement of the post as well. I've made a little bit of a diagonals to find the center of my piece of silver, and we can just get the drill straight into the center and drill a little divot. That's all it is a little divot. Not quite sure whether the camera can actually pick that up. We've got a nice little bit of a divot right in the middle. So now what we can do is place it upon our block. Again, get a little bit of borax or a little bit of flux. Pop a little bit of flux right into that hole. Now remember, that little hole is lovely and clean. We've just drilled into it, bit of flux onto it. We can put a bit of flux onto the end of our wire as well. Now, because it's got that little bit of a hole, when we come to put the wire onto the surface, it'll go down into the hole and it'll get a greater surface area for the solder to fasten onto. Result is a stronger joint when it comes with that post. Let's grab a little bit of solder. We can put a little bit of solder right into that hole. Get my visor on for this. And just drop that little bit of solder into the hole. You can put a little bit of flux on that bit of solder as well. So there's the hole. There's our little bit of solder. Here's our eel wire. If you want to, you can hold this in a pair of tweezers, or you can use your third hand to position that right above where you need it to go. I'm just going to move that off to one side and bring it in now when the solder has just melted into that hole. Any second now, there we go. Bring this wire now into position. There we go. Nice, safe, secure. Pop that into the acid. Safety pickle, then into the water. And we've got ourselves a lovely, lovely joint between that little eel wire now and the back. Just like that. Looking absolutely fabulous. Now what we can do is cut this off to the length that we require. Where's our ruler gone? It is here somewhere. There it is. We're going to make this 10 millimeters. Lay this out on our rule, and we can just simply get a pair of top cutters, come along and just cut off 10 millimeters, like that there. That's what we got so far. Not quite vertical just yet, but I'll come to that in a moment. So the end of the eel wire now is slightly rough where we've clipped it. Best way to sort that out is to get a little cup burr. And all that is a little burr that has a little cup in the end of it with some teeth. Pop that into your flex shaft. Roll that around the top of the wire. And that has instantly given the end of the wire a nice rounded finish with no messing about. Just like that. Lovely, nice and rounded. We now need to strengthen the eel wire because we've annealed it. We've heated it up, we've put it in the safety pickle into the water. It's quite soft. So the best way to do this, there's a few ways you can do it. Put it into a barrel polisher and let the burnishing action burnish and work harden the post. You can get a little steel block and then a mini little burnisher and put the post on the block like that and get your burnisher and just burnish over the metal. You could do that way. So you're effectively work hardening the surface. Or what I like to do, and what I find is quite an easy way of doing it, is to get a pair of parallel pliers or any sort of pliers, grab the end about 2 millimeters as we've got there, hold on to the earring and simply twist the wire, I'd say a good half turn, 3/4 of a turn. And by doing that, you're twisting the wire, you're straightening the wire, and also you are strengthening the wire as well. Also test how good that solder joint is as well. So there's our ear wire. The end is rounded, it's nice and straight, it's nice and hard. We got a fantastic solder joint on here. One thing we need to do, on the commercial posts, there's always a little groove towards the end, so when the scroll or the butterfly goes onto it, those little roundy bits will always locate in the end, stops the butterfly or the scroll from pulling directly off. Again, for me, the best way to do that is to get a pair of round nose pliers, come on, roughly run about 2 millimeters from the end. What we're going to do, we're just gently squeeze the pliers and we're going to dent the metal. We're going to turn the post, turn the earring round about 1/8 of a turn. We're going to squeeze again. We're going to turn the earring another 1/8 of a turn. We're going to squeeze. And we're going to do that until we've gone all the way around the post itself. So we're going to squeeze, turn, squeeze, turn, squeeze, turn. And as you do that, you only really need to go halfway around the earring. And by doing that, what you're going to find is that you're going to produce a nice little dent right at the end of the post. And because there's going to be a little bit of a dent right at the end of the post like that, you're going to find that the scroll is going to locate quite nicely. If it goes slightly out of shape, get your parallels and just bring that into position like that there. Now what you can do is put that back in the acid because we've got some flux around the bottom. Once that's gone into the acid and you bring that back out, you want to polish the back, get yourself a nice white nylon brush like this one. This is how they start, like this one here, a nice white nylon brush like that, and go over the back of the earring with that with some Tripoli initially, go over the back and that'll get right into that joint that you've got between the post and the earring itself. You're going to get a gorgeous, gorgeous polish on the back of that earring. So for me, that is the best way that I think that you can put on your own post onto an earring. So just to recap, melt a little blob onto the end of the wire, file half of that away, you've increased the surface area, solder that onto the back of the earring, or make a small little divot, file the end of the ear wire flat, put it into the hole, you get a greater surface area, far better than just simply soldering the post directly onto the back because you've increased the surface area, lot stronger joint. Burnish it? No. Grab onto the end, twist it, it work hardens the earring really, really quickly. Round off the end, great, get a little cup burr onto the end, go round it, rounded the end off, super, super simple. Get that little groove on the end, don't try and file it, you're going to be there for a long time. Easiest way, round nose pliers, grab onto the end, twist it, or even leave them in place and twist the earring, and you're getting a nice little groove onto the end. Bristle brush, white nylon brush, whichever you choose, and that will clean that nice tight gap between the earring and the post. There we go, fast as I could make it. A nice simple technique to ensure that you get absolutely fantastic quality posts on the back of your earrings. That applies to silver, that applies to gold as well. Exactly the same techniques for both. Hope you liked that. Don't forget, please give this thumb a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget, if you haven't done already, please subscribe. I'd love you to smash that little bell icon if that's something that you're into. Please share this film with your friends if you think they would benefit from these techniques I've just showed you. And don't forget, leave a comment down below. Let me know what films you want me to show you on At The Bench's YouTube channel. If you haven't done already, check out our online training website at thebench.com. And in the meantime, I will see you on the next film. Take care. Bye-bye.